Hey guys, I'm Pie Patch and welcome back to our life beginnings and always. It's been a little bit since I last played actually, so I'm really excited to get back into it. Not to mention we're kind of diving into a little bit more of the second arc, where we're playing as teenagers now, so that should be exciting. Yeah, but let's get going. Okay, so I haven't played any of them. Great, let's just jump straight into the first one then, I guess. The family shopping trip had lasted most of the morning, and you still had to unload everything from the trunk before you could go enjoy the afternoon. You cradled another bag in your arms as you headed towards your house. It was one of the heavier bags from the grocery store, loaded with fresh apples, ripe tomatoes, a bunch of carrots, and even half a watermelon. Ma came out of the front door and paused just ahead of you.
It's no trouble.
Need any help with that patch? I can bring it the rest of the way if you want me to. I've got it, it's fine. Even if it was large, it wasn't really any problem for you. Ma gave an encouraging grin and rustled her fingers through your white hair. You set the next bag on the counter. Your older sister began to root around inside for the contents with a sigh. How much is left? Still a few more bags. With a half and a puff, Elizabeth continued putting away the groceries and you retreated out of the kitchen before you could become the target of her bad mood.
Be careful.
Careful, Patch. You hadn't been looking where you were going and bumped right into Mum, almost stepping on her toes to boot. Sorry. I can give you a pass this time, but be sure to watch where you're going. If you run into the wrong person, you might get your license revoked. Is that a joke? Okay. She grinned at the bad joke as she continued through the door. I'm not good. Sometimes I just pass right over my head. Outside, Ma had started organizing what remained and putting it back any loose objects that had fallen out during the trip. When you stepped up to the trunk beside her, she took in a big breath of air, her dress gently swaying around in the breeze.
It's a shame.
It's a shame we had to spend the morning cooped up in that shopping centre. It's a beautiful day, don't you think? You tilted your head to the sky, gazing at the clear blue expanse. Honestly, I kind of wish, I kind of miss going grocery shopping because I'm in lockdown at the moment and only one person is allowed to go to go grocery shopping at a time, and that's not me. So I'd kind of be alright being cooped up in a shopping centre. I do like it when it's raining and stuff, but yeah, today's nice. You closed your eyes and enjoyed the way the sun warmed your face for a few moments before turning back to help Ma with the groceries. Yes, here we go. Oh, hi, Cove. You noticed Mum wave over at Cove, who had just exited his front door. His surfboard propped up onto one arm. He surfs now? Damn. Let me see, a surfboard and a wetsuit. Where might you be off to this beautiful day? No, poor little baby. Dang. Cove instantly startled, not having realized your family was also out here. Even though your mum was the one who called out, you were the one he looked at. So freaking sweet. He tried to settle down again. Cove stayed on his side of the driveway, giving a small wave in greeting. See, it throws me off. Okay, because I'm imagining that the houses behind them are our houses, you know? But we don't seem to really have a driveway here. I suppose there is the small garage in the corner there, but you know what? After a moment or two of deliberation, he jogged over to properly say hello to you and your mums. It was decidedly awkward, since Cove had trouble figuring out how close to stand to you. The addition of his unwieldy surfboard made the whole thing seem even clumsier. Careful with that thing, you might put someone's eye out. Mum chuckled and got a whispered reproach from Ma for it. Oh, they're sweet. need to calm down. Pam, please go easy on him. Cove winced. He wasn't a big fan of attention under normal circumstances, so in this particular moment he was probably wishing he could be invisible. Don't mind her, honey. How are you today? I'm alright. Just gonna go surf. I can't. I'm such a fangirl. I need to stop. Hi, Cove. He had relaxed a little when Ma spoke to him, but the rigidity all came back as soon as you said something. Hey, Patch. You met your eyes, and it almost felt like you had butterflies in your stomach. If you want to go to the beach, we could hang out there later. What face is that, bud? You noticed the flush of red on his cheeks, but that might have been from the heat. It's not. No. Yes, I emphatically would like to do that. Cool. That must have been more enthusiastic than he'd intended because he immediately quietened down. Oh, sorry, did you not want me to say yes? Oh, okay, never mind, you're offering to help. That's fine, okay, we're good. You're not done unloading, right? Can I help? No, this is our job. You go to the beach. Patch can catch up as soon as they're finished here. Alright, see you. Yeah, bye for now. I can't remember if the mums had like slightly American accents or not, so I'm just kind of bouncing back and forth. Cope headed on down to the beach with more skip in his step than normal. It was really cute. You smiled softly to yourself at the thought that you'd be joining him soon. This is so sweet. It's so sweet, it's making me angry. He sure seemed to perk up after you agreed to meet him there. I wonder why that could be. Ma. Who's giving him a hard time now, Lani? Shush, it's different. Mum's face broke out into an incredulous grin. Oh my god, I can't believe I said that right in one go. In what way? I'm being supportive, and he can't hear it. Don't know why I'm making her voice like this, but it's fun. I just want to do this voice basically, and she seemed to be the most fitting character. Mum full on laughed that time. You're the worst of us when it comes to this, honestly. I keep trying to warn people, but they won't listen. I only want to help. I think it's fair to say he might need it. Medla, bet you have a point. Right? They're so sweet, I love them, what great parents. You know, I mean, okay, I'm kind of just going off the fun banter they're having. Let me live my own life, but also thank you, you're very sweet. You narrowed your eyes at their teasing, and they simply chuckled conspiratorially before taking more bags from the trunk and heading inside. Once everything had finally been taken in and put away, you got yourself ready to meet Cove at the beach. Ooh. I personally don't surf and can't imagine myself doing so, but for the sake of the bonding moment, I actively do in this game. Aww. Okay, let's say we took it up to try and have a shared hobby with Cove. That's a cute way to think about it. You'd been practicing your surfing more and more lately. It was always ready to go. After grabbing your board and getting everything ready, you headed down to the beach. Have fun, honey. Stay safe. When you arrived at the shore, you were greeted by the crash of waves and the soft calls of seagulls. You took in a lungful of ocean air and felt your peachy skin warm in the sun. You noticed a small setup nearby with a towel, some sunscreen, and a bottle of water. It must be Cove's. Good on him for using sunscreen. You spotted Cove himself nearby. He hadn't gone out to sea yet. He was just sitting in the sand at the water's edge, his board propped up beside him. You strolled up beside him. Hey, I'm here. Patch. He's... I don't know why, but his face is funny. He looked up at you with a smile and quickly hopped to his feet. I was gonna go in on my own. It kind of seemed like you weren't coming. I told you I was gonna. It's fine. I wouldn't have missed it, so I had to wait and stay inside all day. I don't think so. Yeah, I wouldn't have missed it. Oh, he chuckled shyly at your insistence. Okay. Then he cast his eyes out towards the waves. Will you give me some tips? Cove had read up on surfing more than you have, so he knew he'd have some good tips to help you improve. Yeah, let's get started. You tucked your board under your arm and the two of you ran into the water together. You paddled out into the sea to where the good waves were. The water was cool against your skin. It's nice to see him get to actually be in the water and stuff. Not too calm, but nothing crazy. It looks perfect today. He smiled at you and you couldn't help but smile back. You felt totally content. Until Cove kicked the water a little too hard and it inadvertently splashed you. Hey! Sorry, did that hit you? You could tell... Did I read that backwards? Whoops. You could tell he really did feel bad that you had gotten caught in the crossfire. You laughed but waited for an opening for revenge. The second he looked away, you kicked back, spraying him. Betrayal. Oh god, don't take it so seriously, sorry. I hope you're being sarcastic. Is he being sarcastic? I can't tell. Ouroboros, is that like a reference to the Ouroboros? The Ouroboros? Anyway. I'm reading too hard into this. Is that any way to treat someone trying to help you? I came out here to teach you. And I was just following your example. Cove tried to keep a straight face but ended up looking away. The water you flicked at him landed in shiny droplets in his hair. Then, here's another lesson. He soaked you deliberately this time. He used his full leg and an impressive curtain of water hit you in the face. You lost your balance and scrambled to keep hold of the board. You just managed to stay on, but it was close. Cove winced. Are you okay? I'm sorry. I'm fine, but we should do the real teaching. Yeah. He chuckled awkwardly and shook some water out of his ear. With that, Cove started telling you all the tips and tricks of how to stay on a surfboard. He demonstrated both good and bad posture and explained where you needed to put your weight. Like this? You wiggled your body so that you were more in the center of your board. Cove nodded. Yeah, just like that. The little lesson continued and... I'm playing a video game. I'm going to be perfect at everything if I get to choose to be so. You may not have been entirely sure of yourself before, but that was rapidly changing. You were definitely getting it. Occasionally he reached out and touched you more directly to more directly help get positions right. It felt nice. But if you acknowledge you noticed his touch at all, he would instantly pull away. God, he's so freaking shy. I mean, how else do you do a slow burn unless the love interest is like painfully shy? Since you'd spent so much time working on balance in stable water, you wondered when you'd actually get to catch some waves. You brought it up to Cove and he nodded. If you think you're ready to go for it. You'll do great. Alright. With that, you graduated from Cove's class and the two of you were able to surf together more casually, even if he was still better at it. What an afternoon. Oh, pretty. The setting sun was visible on the horizon. Every time you would look away, it had sunk a little lower. The beach was darkening, but still pleasantly warm. You knew you should get out of the water before it was completely dark in the sea. You rode one last wave to get back to the beach. There, you picked up your surfboard and gave it a quick once-over. Cove followed behind you to the shore. He put his board with his other things and grabbed his towel to start drying off. As he ruffled his hair with the towel, you watched the sunset together. The colours were beautiful in the distance, and the shadows around you deepened. There was no need for words between you two as you both enjoyed the sight for a moment. Cove broke the silence. The waves were good today, I think. Perfect for surfing. He nodded mildly. You chatted a little more until the conversation truly died out, and all you heard was the rhythmic sound of waves. Then Cove sighed. The day can't be over, not yet. He scowled into the distance as if the sun exiting the sky was a personal offense. Don't you think it should be longer? Yeah. Cove stood up straight in defiance of the approaching darkness. I'm not gonna go home yet. I wanna go somewhere. I don't know. Cove was still dripping with salt water, so you weren't sure what the alternative was. Wetsuits were fine for the beach and not much else. It wasn't a good idea for him to lug his surfboard around town either. I want to read each of these lines. You'll be real cute in that wetsuit wherever you go. Fuck. Well, I need to call it a night. Yeah, I want to do something too. We'll sure be welcome anywhere soaking like this. Okay. Okay, so it's not the second one, and it's not the last one. How do I play it? Am I playing it? I don't think we're there yet. I don't think we're at the really flirty level yet. I don't think we're there. It doesn't feel right. I really want to, but it doesn't feel right. I'm sorry. Yeah, I want to do something too. Cove nodded with a smile. I'm sorry. Then he looked down the shore with wide, shining eyes. There's at least one place that's always okay to hang out in, no matter what time it is. The park. Are you sure? Okay. I don't trust that as a safe place at night, but sure. You nodded. The park was virtually always empty. Even Elizabeth only went over there nowadays if she was looking for you. How times have changed. She used to be so protective of the place. In fact, the only person there was a chance of running into might be that Jeremy kid again, and we hate him. Which is why I brought a Glock. You brought the idea up to Cove and he cringed, but I'm still going. The sun is still there, a little. I'm staying out as long as it is. No, I'm going with you. Okay, let's go. Cove took a minute to put his stuff in order. He made sure to get it all, though it didn't take much care to shake the sand off. You dealt with your own things. I'm gonna take my time to pack my bag. Yes, okay. The two of you finished at about the same time. He led the way down the beach to the park. It wasn't far, so it didn't take you long at all. The sun still hadn't completely disappeared just when you made your way. Oh, just yet when you made your arrival. Cove stuck his surfboard upright in the sand and tossed his towel over top. By now, the two of you were mostly dry. The summer breeze on your skin kept you pleasantly warm. Cove idly went over to the monkey bars. He grabbed them, feet flat on the ground, and pretended to go across. He had definitely grown in the past few years. You could barely use the monkey bars yourself. There wasn't much space at all between you and the ground. When he got to a bar in the middle, Cove pulled himself up and through, then sat on the top of the bars. His legs dangled off the side of the bar he'd perched on. Click. Without Cove's height advantage, getting up there was more difficult, but you made it. You climbed on the side of the monkey bars and pulled yourself up to the top. You settled yourself in between two of the slats. The skinny metal wasn't the most comfortable thing to sit on, though you enjoyed the height it gave you. Okay. I guess it's a good thing I don't have any self-respect. Guess what? He smiled broadly and raised an eyebrow. He's not here. Really? Right, it was true. There wasn't a single sign of... I read that as, he's right, it was true. There wasn't a single Jeremy. Looks like it was just going to be the two of you tonight. Cove hung his head and groaned dramatically. Your eyes widened when he whipped his head back up.
No way.
Whoa, what's this sudden anger? I can't believe how dumb my parents are for forcing me to come to this stupid place. I'm sorry, what? Where did this come from? Are you talking about the playground? Are you talking about that oddly named town? You were taken aback and blinked for a second before you realized he was quoting Jeremy. Oh, Jesus Christ. I was like, ooh. Don't scare me like that. One Jeremy is enough. Cove chuckled back at you, a mischievous glint in his eye. You looked around. The old park, the street you knew like the back of your hand, and the beach. These were your stomping grounds. You wondered how Cove actually felt. How much his joke was just a joke, and how much was sincere dislike of this place. Moving had never been his choice. Do you actually like this neighborhood? Do you really have to ask that, Patch? Yes, you're not very good at communicating your emotions. Cove kicked his legs carelessly as they dangled. He smiled softly. I still don't know. Okay. Whew, that's good. That's a really sweet smile. I like it here. I really do. It's a nice place. He didn't hesitate. There was no uncertainty. That was his genuine opinion. Fucking hate it. I feel like, yeah, okay. Okay, I'm gonna do this one, okay? You're the best thing in the neighborhood, Cove. So sweet! Cove flushed and started kicking his legs wildly like he was running in place. And then he just jumped off the monkey bars, yeeted himself into the sand, and buried his head and never resurfaced. It didn't take long for the day to finally draw to a close. The sun was gone and it was dark. You chatted a while longer, but it was definitely winding down. We stayed the whole day, I imagine. I just do grocery shopping always early in the morning, so anyway. I wish days were longer. I wish this day was longer. His feet kicked out. It made him look like a pouty child. That's because he is a pouty child. Oh wow. Cove sighed. It was time to go home. He hopped down from the monkey bars with a thump when his feet hit the ground. You clambered down the monkey bars yourself. You lowered yourself more slowly than Cove and barely made a sound when your feet reached the ground. Cove grabbed his surfboard and threw his towel around his neck. With his water bottle in hand, he was ready. You both began your trek up the road. It was a quiet night, and you didn't run into anyone else. In what felt like no time at all, you had reached your street. I'm actually really glad I did that really cute option, because now I feel more confident to do it in the future. Seeing that he had like a positive reaction to that. Okay, I'm feeling good now. As you walked, Cove smiled to himself. It was a soft expression, and you couldn't help but wonder what put it there. Everything okay? I just remember when we were younger. It used to be such a big deal to come home after dark. You could indeed recall, if you got sandy, your parents would have something to say. If you got wet, your parents would have more to say. And if you came home after dark, well, your mums and his dad had better have said it was okay beforehand. You used to need permission for everything. That small comment he made exposed just how much freedom you really had this summer. Cove looked up into the sky, a smile still on his face as the two of you walked side by side, reminiscing. When you came to your houses, you turned to each other. Bye. Okay, bye. It was nice seeing you. This is definitely an interesting experience. Okay, that's very neutral. I don't know how I feel about that. Yup. Thanks for the awesome day. Obviously, I'm going to say thanks for the awesome day. Perfect. Cove waved and you both turned around to your respective houses. This was a pleasant end to the outing. You thought? That was really sweet. Oh, I just enjoyed that. It was just like a nice day. Are things gonna go badly from now on? Was that just like a nice pleasant start and now things are gonna go downhill? I guess we'll find out right freaking immediately, won't we? This one's called growing. Let's do this. Early one afternoon, you found yourself in the living room with your family. It was another one of those summer days where it felt too hot to go outside, but it was too uncomfortable to do anything inside either. The air conditioner was cranked up as far as you could negotiate it, but everyone was still being pretty lazy. Your mums, and your sister were lounging around while the TV blared on in the backdrop, ignored by all of you. You specifically were lying spread eagled. That sounds like me, sitting cross-legged on the floor, perched on the arm of a couch, draped over the coffee table. Ooh, draped over the coffee table, very dramatic. I'm liking the bird vibes. Probably what I would actually do. You stared up at the ceiling, your eyes unfocused and mind clear of all thoughts. Elizabeth broke the silence with a loud groan. You glanced over. She was lying on her back over the couch, massaging her calf with one hand. Ugh, I felt terrible. I'm dying in this house and my legs hurt. Mum looked up from the magazine she'd barely been flipping through and frowned, concerned. Could you have strained them somehow? Elizabeth flailed briefly, then flopped onto her side with a heavy sigh. I don't know, it just hurts.
Sweetie.
Oh, sweetheart. Ma got up from her seat at the kitchen table and walked over to your sister. She did a light pat on Elizabeth's shoulder sympathetically. I'm sorry you have to deal with that. Maybe it's growing pains. You could be taller by next fall. Elizabeth scoffed. She didn't look impressed by Ma's assessment. I'd rather be my height forever than deal with this. Mum walked over too, leaning against the back of the couch. Kids, they grow up so fast. Kids, they grow up so fast. Soon Elizabeth will have a home of her own. Maybe even with a nice husband and some kids if she feels like it. How presumptuous of you, Mum. She can do what she likes. Sorry. Why do I get so defensive about this stuff? I need to calm down. She sniffled loudly and wiped at her eye, but you could tell that was just a bit. You tilted your head. Even though you knew Elizabeth liked guys, it was a bit hard to imagine her with a boyfriend or a husband. She only seemed invested in hanging out with her group of friends, not chasing after boys. Radical. Ma must agree with you because she shook her head.
No.
Let's not exaggerate. She's still practically a child. She's not gonna like that. But if you ever do pursue romance, Elizabeth, you can come and talk to me about it. Definitely. We're always willing to lend an ear. Elizabeth's features contorted in disgust. Yeah, like the guys, this got very serious very quickly. No way! I am not talking to my moms about that. Mum's jaw dropped and she gasped in an exaggerated display of shock. Her hand came up to rest against her chest. Ma only grinned. She didn't look offended by Elizabeth's quick response at all. It really wouldn't be so bad to come to us. I know what it's like to have a crush on a pretty boy or two. Nice, canon bi, I love it. Nice, canon lesbian, I love it. Thank you, I love it when it's canon. I don't, but I can listen anyway. Mum snorted at her own joke, while Ma burst into giggles. They were having a little too much fun at Elizabeth's expense. And she is not freaking happy about it. Elizabeth certainly wasn't feeling the amusement because she rolled her eyes and sat up. Suddenly my leg's feeling a lot better actually. Super weird. Bye. I'm going back to my room. I'd rather melt alone. Thanks. She strode off towards the staircase, taking the steps two at a time. Your mum stared after her, then turned to each other with raised eyebrows. I expected them to just zero in on me. Like, you're next. Whoops, it looked like we scared her off with all that romance talk.
Well,
Oh well, we'll get her next time. You watched them titter with some surprise. Obviously your mums liked women, but you had no idea that Ma liked guys too. Today was the first time you'd heard her say something like that. I'm so glad to see us having this conversation. This is so cool. Ma, I always thought you only liked ladies. You like guys too? Ma turned to you, happy to bring you into things now you'd spoken up. She smiled and nodded. That's right. Wait, no, voice disappeared. Too eager. That's right. I like both. But I like your mum most out of everyone. She's special. Oh, my smile turned all soft and she's so good. I used to always think that I didn't like romance as a genre. Turns out it had just all sucked. All of it that I'd seen was bad. Ma's smile turned all soft in the corners, like it usually did when she looked at her. She pinched Mum's cheek lightly. Mum reached up to cup a hand over Ma's. Even when Ma stopped pulling her on her cheek, their hands remained clasped together.
You're fantastic.
Oh, she was so enthusiastic. So cute. Thanks, Lani. I think most women have charm, but no one can hold a candle to you.
Oh,
Pamela. Ma beamed, then kissed Mum on the cheek like she'd been pinching before. Parents were embarrassing. Honestly, this is probably how I would react, but they're very sweet. You smiled to yourself at the sight. No matter how often your mums expressed their feelings for each other, it was always nice to witness it. Ma looked back to you, letting Mum's hand go with a brief squeeze. She settled down next to you and Mum followed soon after. You know, I'm also here to listen to you whenever you're ready. Here we go, they're turning on me, I knew it. You know, I'm also here to listen to you whenever you're ready. That offer isn't just for Elizabeth. In fact, I think that talk might be needed sooner for you. After all, you already have someone, isn't that right? Mum shook her head and elbowed Ma, but it was futile. Meddler. You almost... we beat up Mum. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna be honest about it. Yeah, that's true. Ma giggled and smiled, no doubt pleased that you admitted it so readily. There's no rush, of course. You can take all the time you need to figure out what or who you want.
it's okay.
Don't think you have to stick with whatever you come up with right now, either. Life's nice like that. It can change and you can learn. That's really nice. Mum nodded her agreement. The two of us are happy to hear you out, and we may be able to relate better than you think. Still, we won't push the topic, at least most of the time. She gave Ma the weakest scathing look possible while being unable to stop grinning. Thanks. I'll think about it.
Wonderful.
Good, that's all we ask for. Mum let out another exaggerated sniffle. It didn't take a genius to realise it was fake. First Elizabeth, and now you, Patch. Do you have to grow up? Yes, children tend to do that from time to time. Your parents quickly grew absorbed in their conversation about rearing kids. You took that as your cue to leave, getting up so you could spend some time alone in your room too. They let you go without problem, so you made your way up the stairs. That was really cute. My family is lovely. You let out a sigh when she stepped into your room. It was just as sweltering in there as it was in the living room, possibly even a little warmer. You couldn't even open your window since it was hotter outside and you just let the AC out. It'd grow legs and climb out the window. You dragged your feet as you crossed the room. You checked your current sweltering condition in the mirror as you passed by it. You thought back to the conversation you'd had downstairs about growing up and all that. After a moment you stepped a bit closer to the mirror. You stared into it, then turned away from the surface to look down at yourself. You were definitely growing, alright. It was weird to think about how you were now in comparison to what you'd been when you were younger. When it came to your body, Okay, I thought I was gonna ask if I was like AFAB or AMAB, and I'm like, oh, please don't, game. So this is nice. I am pretty skinny, not gonna lie. I'm pretty slender. But I really want to be strong. I want to be a cool sword lady. So I'm gonna see I'm strong now. I'm living out my dreams, okay? It's fine. You shifted to the side. Your head was still facing forward and continuing the self-evaluation from this viewpoint. Oh, there we go. Hey, well, thank you for giving me more than 2 options. I personally am AFAB, so I'm gonna go with this one just so it feels more... Yes. What you were born as impacted the way your body grew, but it wasn't what you really determined. It wasn't what really determined who you were. You tried to imagine what your adult self might be like. You took a step backwards, finished with your impromptu inspection. You locked eyes with your reflection, cocking your head to the side. All things considered. Oh, this is tough. I know at 13, I think I had no comprehension of how I looked. By the time I got maybe like 15, I was very aware of it, but like when I was starting high school, it was just not something that even crossed my mind. My body was a tool for getting around and experiencing the world and wearing whatever clothes I wanted to wear, you know? I think I don't know how to feel. It's just, at the time, I think it was just my body, and I didn't really have that sentimental attachment to it. That's interesting. I don't think I've ever thought about it like that before. You tilted your head over to the opposite side as if it would help you make up your mind. It didn't. You shook your head roughly, putting thoughts of what you were turning into out of your mind. This wasn't the time to focus on such things. You had to find something to do in this heat. It's really interesting. I'm actually... I'm an English and writing major, and I'm currently taking a course on young adult fiction. And this would be a really, really interesting game to study through that lens, I reckon, because one of the big troubles with studying young adult fiction is, of course, that it's a genre written about an audience that is the vast majority of the time not the ones writing it. So it's adults portraying the experiences of young adults. So then often it's going to be inaccurate, but also when you're studying those kind of texts, you can't tell whether it's accurate or not, because most of the time it's an adult studying those texts. So I'm actually really interested to see what the development of this, I want to see like the makeup of this team, like their ages and what kind of research they did into it, because certainly I think writing different ages isn't something you necessarily think of something you need to be careful about when you're writing something. Like if you're writing from the perspective of a different sexuality or a different culture, I think that's something in the writing field that people think very carefully about, but you don't often think about it as much with ages. But it can still be super, super impactful, because the people who are reading these books and these works a lot of the time are at a time period in their life when they're most susceptible to influential opinions and stuff like that. Oh my god, I went on a tangent. But anyway, I think this would be an interesting game to study. And don't give me ideas. Let's keep going. You shuffled over to your bed, collapsing onto the mattress, your brows scrunched up in thought. Thank you. Time passed slowly, and to your annoyance, possible ideas about what to do were few and far between. You weren't sure how long it had been, but eventually you heard your mum call you from downstairs. Patch! There's a call for you. Cove wants you to come over. Is that alright? No, that asshole, I hate him. Are you kidding me, Mum? You perked up at the words, sitting up in bed. You yelled back to her immediately. Yeah? You got to your feet and headed downstairs, eager to find your friend. You needed to go downstairs soon anyway, because your empty stomach told you it was almost time for lunch. God, I'm like coming to the end of my degree, and I'm just like vibrating, thinking about what I'm going to be doing in the future, like envying these days when I could just lie on my bed and do nothing and not feel guilty about it. Oh, blessed. Just as you reached the bottom of the stairs, you saw Mum put the phone back on the receiver. She glanced at Ma leaning her hip against the kitchen counter. Well, here comes trouble. We better prepare ourselves. Ma clicked her tongue to clear disapproval. Oh, hang on, did I mixed them up again, didn't I? Dang it. I keep forgetting. He's such a good boy. Cove never wants to cause trouble. He can just be a bit thoughtless and impulsive. Oh, I know. He's very sweet, but that's what makes it more of a problem. If a stranger or some kid from school was egging Patch on to behave badly, I think we can both agree that they'd do the right thing in the end. But if Cove Holton got into a reckless mood and wanted Patch to be a part of the ride, can we really be certain of what call they'd make then? I would set fire to the town. You have too much faith in me. Yes, I think so. Patch helped Cove settle down. He would have gotten himself in more trouble without them. Thank you.
Thanks.
You have a point. Ma just laughed. As she turned away, still snorting, her eyes met yours. I hear you judging me, parents. She blinked in surprise, then waved at you with an easy grin, sorry. Mum looked over, noticing you at the foot of the stairs as well. Oh, I didn't expect you to come down already, Patch. I just wanted to let you know what was happening. It's fine. I pretend I didn't overhear them. It's okay. I just got here. From the way Mum and Ma exchanged amused glances, you got the feeling that they didn't believe you. Thankfully, they didn't correctly accuse you of lying. Sure. Well, we'll just get out of the way. You and Cove take care. You couldn't help but flush when Mum winked. Mum elbowed her, even as a smile tugged at her lips. Honestly, this lady... Your mums whispered amongst themselves as they went down the hall. You're like schoolgirls, calm down. Eventually you heard the faint sound of their bedroom door shutting. It's conspiratorial. Now you are alone in the living room, tasked with waiting for Cove. Just stand in the doorway in that what's the pose called? The take on me pose? Surely it has a name, and that was just fine with you. If it hadn't been so hot outside, you would have visited him at his house a long time ago. You took a seat at the kitchen counter and settled in for the wait. As expected, there was a knock on the door a few minutes later. Hey dude, you look unimpressed. When you got up and answered it, your neighbour was standing on the other side. He came in once you stepped aside to let him pass, giving a little wave. You greeted him as you typically did. I fucking punched him in the face. A noogie? What an asshole. Hello, 5. I'm gonna give him a hug. He stiffened in your arms, then relaxed seconds after. One would think he'd be used to your hugs after all these years. Nerd. Hey. Oh, why is this getting me so... His face... His voice was cracked as he struggled to say something. You didn't feel worried about that. It was how he usually reacted when you were close by. Cove sighed and wiped at his face a bit. You noted the sheen of sweat across his brow. He must be glad to be back in the air-conditioned place, even if it had only been a walk across the street to get there. Is something going on? Wait, is something going on? Why'd you want to come over? Oh, I thought you were like leading into something, like something horrible had happened, but no, it's just hot. I'm sorry, I live in Australia, it's my everyday, or what? It's like freaking winter, calm down, me. I don't want to do anything, not when it's like this. He gestured vaguely to the humid air hanging around. I thought I could at least do nothing with you. It's really sweet. How'd you know I was doing nothing? Maybe I had plans, asshole. You nodded. That made sense to you. I was thinking the exact same thing. You grinned and he smiled back, and that was all there is to it. Both of you were on the same page. Have you had lunch yet? I was gonna do it soon. He shook his head.
Not really.
I haven't really felt like eating because of the heat. I should probably have some lunch. I didn't have breakfast this morning. Cove, you're responsible. It's the most important meal of the day. Where's that option? Yeah, I get like that sometimes too. You should really eat properly. You didn't eat at all? Then we gotta have something now. Great, we can eat lunch together. I get it. I get like that sometimes too. But let's put a positive spin on it. Like, great, we can eat lunch together. Yeah, there you go. Cove nodded, looking content with your suggestion. Okay, cool. As one, you headed into the kitchen. You crossed your arms as you glanced around, wondering what you should what? What you should... Why is that sound suddenly so difficult for me? Wondering what you should scrounge up for a meal. I don't know, suddenly that just became very like... Oh my god, it's getting me again. Like sensory wise, it was just very upsetting for me. I don't want to eat anything that's warmed up. Is there something cold or not cooked? Do we have like cold pizza? I love cold pizza. My family thinks I'm a freak. After a bit of back and forth, the two of you concluded that you should raid the fridge and cabinet in order to make sandwiches. Yeah, with like chips on it. With that settled, you had placed it aside on the outside layers first. Oh wait, did I miss a bit there? I feel like I missed... Yeah, I did. Stupid. With that settled, you had planned to decide on the outside layers first. You mean bread? There was a wide variety to choose from since everyone in your house had their own favorites. Okay, there was white bread, wheat bread, sourdough, mixed grains, gluten-free bread, and pita pockets. Oh my god, that's so many options. Okay. Personally, I usually go for like a whole grain mix thing, but I am a sucker for sourdough. Freaking love sourdough, but the breads in your house were vegan because of your preferences, and that didn't... I appreciate the thought, but most bread is vegan already. There's no eggs in it. It's pretty much just like flour, yeast, and water. But thanks, guy. Thumbs up. We got special vegan apples for you. It's very funny that... I just find it funny that sometimes people just don't know what it means. That people ask me if I can eat chips and bread, and I'm like, yeah, bud, it's fine. It is kind of funny. Could you take the green one for me? Sure, I like the green one too. You reached for the mixed grains, then made your decision. Woo! All going off into the corner. I'll let it wrap. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, what? There was cinnamon swirl bread? I've been having a lot of cinnamon toast lately because one day I went, dang, I used to have cinnamon toast all the time as a kid. I missed that, and then I went, I can just do that. I can just have cinnamon toast now. I have it all the time, and it's probably not great for me. But what if you made cinnamon toast on like cinnamon swirl bread? Or with like Nutella? What if you use Nutella instead of butter? I'm gonna have sourdough because I like sourdough. You pulled out the sourdough too, setting... Only if it's fresh though. If it's not fresh sourdough, then gross. Setting both items on the counter. I'm gonna assume it's fresh. Then you had to decide what main direction the sandwich would go in. We're gonna do a savory because I picked the sourdough and we're not gonna do... Are you kidding me? Something savory would make it feel like a real meal. As for the specific ingredients... Okay. Oh my god, so many options. Okay. I don't like tofu. Definitely tomatoes. I want tomatoes. I want red onions. I want avocado. I want peppers for sure. I want... What's pepper jack? Is that just another type of cheese? Let's go cucumber. Let's go some lettuce. Pickles? Nah. Oh, hummus? We can go a little hummus. And condiments. For the finishing touch, you intended to top your sandwich with... Oh, but I like all of those. I feel like for the sourdough, we're gonna go with the pesto, baby. Oh my god. And salt and pepper. I can't put mustard with pesto. And that'll do. It honestly sounds like a freaking rad sandwich, my bro. Who am I? You nodded to yourself with a quiet hum, satisfied. The two of you bustled around the kitchen, opening and closing things in order to collect everything you needed for your individual sandwiches. You focused intently on assembling your for the most part. When you were close to being done though, you glanced over at your neighbor. What kind of sandwich does he make? I will judge him heavily on what kind of sandwich he makes. Cove was putting his sandwich together delicately, his brow furrowed and tongue sticking out just barely. There were open jars of peanut butter, honey, and honey near his plate, as well as a banana peel. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I like it. Nutella? Okay, I'm gonna... Sometimes... Okay, don't murder me for this, but sometimes I have toast and I put avocado, kiwi fruit, and coconut on it. Okay, I'm sorry. It's weird, but it actually kind of tastes like weird good, you know? You know those weird good tastes? Okay, moving on. Hell yeah, sound great. Go for it, bud. I'm clearly not one to judge. Maybe you'd have one yourself a different time. Curiosity satiated, you turned back to your plate and finished your own creation. By the time you were done, Cove had already cleaned up his workstation. He turned to face you, studying your sandwich briefly. Unimpressed. What, bud? What? I've just got like veggies on it. That's pretty much it. It's a vegetable sandwich. Okay? Calm the fuck down. He gave an incredulous look, but didn't question you about it. Good. I will destroy you. Done? Yeah. Cool. Haha. Okay, cool. He doesn't seem too bothered about my weird sandwich. He waited as you quickly returned to the ingredients and cleaned a few utensils. Then the two of you collected your fuck, come on. I wasn't doing too bad at the beginning, and I'm just dissolving. What's going on? You collected your respective plates. You both agreed on heading upstairs to hang out in your room. Oh, cute. What is this? Is this an American thing? Is it secret law? Please tell me it's not secret law, because that will break me. And I will dive headfirst into it and try and figure out all the secret lore behind this game. You and Cove entered your bedroom while balancing your food on the plates. Nothing fell, so it was a successful trip. Cove took a seat on the ground, stretched out on the hardwood floor in an attempt to keep a bit cooler. He immediately took a big bite of his sandwich, chewed, then hummed happily. Aww. Ooh. This sandwich is really good. At least that's something. At this point, you sat down and started on your own sandwich. No, it's good. Shut up. Obviously, you're a pro at making sandwiches. He leaned back on his hands while chewing and glanced around. His every movement was sluggish. Want to do something? It seemed the plan of not doing anything at all had already worn thin despite his lack of enthusiasm. Yeah. He rolled his head back, looking up at the ceiling. What about Hangman? Sure. You put your plate to the side and pulled out some markers and scrap paper. As you laid everything on the floor, he scooted back to make more room in front of you. Cove picked up one of the markers with his right hand while keeping a half slice of sandwich in his left. Can I pick the phrase? Go ahead, I don't mind. He smiled briefly before he bent over the paper and began sketching the hangman frame. That's not how it works. You draw it after when I get things wrong. Are you playing like the hardcore version where it's just the guy? Damn. You badass. Then he stopped, pursing his lips in thought. He tapped the end of his marker against his cheek. You watched silently as Cove looked down at the paper, up at your face, then off to the side in a loop. His marker kept tapping his cheek the entire time. You raised an eyebrow. He suggested the game and wanted to pick the phrase, but it looked like he didn't actually have anything in mind for it. Finally, he put empty lines on the paper to signify spots for letters. Yeah, it's okay, I know how it works. Alright, you can start guessing. What is this? What kind of a hangman's blah blah is that? Does it say, you are cool? I don't know. You peered over. His secret phrase consisted of 3 words. The first 2 had 3 letters and the last had 4. You thought hard about what your first guess should be. It's always got to be a vowel first. Vowel first. Oh, I get to actually do it? One letter of the alphabet. Okay. A. Enter. Whoa. Oh, I might be right. R. Okay. You got one. After the first round, you were about to take another bite of your sandwich when that thought occurred to you. I want to keep playing the game though. Can we do the whole game? I wonder if anyone turned off the TV downstairs. What does it matter? The TV, it was on earlier, but no one was really watching. Then everyone started leaving the living room. I know I didn't turn it off. It might still be on downstairs with no one there. So what? What does that matter? Cove smiled crookedly at that. I'm sorry, you're just empathizing for the show. Poor show, playing with no one around to enjoy it. What was it? It was Black Butler. You squinted off into the middle distance trying to recall the show's name. I feel like it was some kind of crime-solving drama. There are so many. Cove nodded sleepily, his eyes closed and opened again with some effort. Can you give any specifics? Maybe I can guess it. Like hangman. Well, you rested your chin on your open palm. What was that? Groggily thinking as hard as you could. I remember there was a woman with long blonde hair. I think is it Buffy? She was the one solving the crimes, like as a detective or something. I haven't seen Buffy, but I guess that could be Buffy. Or maybe Fringe. I like Fringe. There were scenes in a police station because someone got arrested. Cool, still very generic. You lapsed into silence, both of you thoughtful, then Cove chuckled. It wasn't that funny, but you joined in the laughter anyway. I don't know what that is. Me neither. And I just saw it. Oh yes, again, okay. Let's try O. Okay, so it's not you are cool, but it definitely is you are... It could be nice. Shit. Dead. No, we've already got an A, it's fine. Good guess. After another round came and went, Cove grumbled. I thought it said grumbled. Like he... What is happening to me? As he readjusted himself, his features were twisted in a grimace. Ugh, I feel so sticky. I'm gonna be stuck to this floor forever now. I'll have to charge you rent then. You can be my new roomie if you want. Looks like we'll both be stuck here forever then. I'm sticky too. Gross. No way. I'll peel you off if I have to. No. You just smile. You can be my new roomie if you want. He smiled lightly at your joking suggestion. I'm not joking. You're trapped here forever. That wouldn't be so bad. You couldn't help but smile too. Now that you thought about it, being roommates with Cove would be fun. Then you return to the game again. Okay. Okay, let's go E now. Yes, okay, getting somewhere. It's definitely you are. But what is this? It could be nice at this point. Okay. Cove spoke up once more, catching it. That's the implication of that is that we're playing this in silence. Like I'm just going, I want this letter to go here, drawing it in without Cove interacting with me whatsoever. Cove spoke up once more, catching your attention. He was peering down at the piece of paper between you, his expression thoughtful. You know, Hangman is kind of a creepy game. Why did people come up with it? Why did they play it? I think most of these kids' games just have absolutely awful origins. Yes, that's it. Maybe it's what they had instead of real court trials back then. I'm not being serious. Yuriko raised a skeptical brow. You bit back a laugh and feigned seriousness. If you got it right, then you were innocent, and they let you go. But if you got it wrong, they kill you. He shuddered at your eerie explanation. You shouldn't look at his face before rejecting it outright.
No way.
That's terrible and not real. You seem like personally offended. You chuckled to yourself and went back to the creepy game. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna guess these ones. So hopefully if any of the other letters are repeated, they'll pop up in the last one. So let's go R. Yes, okay, so we've got no R's in here. That's another one. By this point, Cove had finished his sandwich. Yours was almost gone too. By now, you were getting thirsty. You brought it up to your neighbor. Should we go downstairs and get some drinks? I was thinking of that too, but I don't really want to get up. Me neither. You looked over at him, narrowing your eyes with false suspicion. But hey, what happened to you not being able to get up again because you were stuck to the floor? That's still true. I mean, we're not actually going, are we? I only thought about it. You rolled your eyes and dropped the issue, defeated. Cove grinned a little at your disappointment over his victory. Okay, let's go you now. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Holy hell, everyone. Okay. You know what this means, right? Do you know what this means? Flappy hands. Eee. If he's calling us cute, I'm gonna freaking die. So I just need to take a moment to compose myself there. You're really close. I'm gonna freaking die. Yeah. End me. You're definitely gonna get it. Enter. You are cute. That was the phrase that Cove had spent so long settling on. You stared at it. A few correct letters in, you had a feeling you knew what the phrase was. But still, you felt butterflies in your stomach at seeing it, clear as day, on the paper. You took in the words for a moment longer, then you looked up at Cove. I'm sorry, I just keep stopping so often, but come on. Come on. I'm such a romantic. He had trouble meeting your shocked gaze, a smile settling awkwardly on his lips. His next words left him in a mumble. It was all I could think of at the time. Jeez Louise. Oh, okay. We're not doing playful shove because that feels dismissive. No, because that might upset him. No, okay. Are you gonna... I think, this feels almost disingenuous. Oh. What if I flip a coin? At the very least, then it'll tell me what I'm thinking. Ready? This is actually a bottle cap, but that'll do. Ah, wait, nope, I dropped it. Instantly dropped it. Okay, bottle cap side up is covering face. Upside down is the hug. Okay. I got covered face, so I'm gonna go with that one. Wait, no, but I actually kind of felt disappointed that we didn't hug him. Should I hug him? Yeah, I'm gonna hug him. Okay. It was instinct. You leaned over and wrapped your arms around him in a hug. Oh! Damn, Cove. I'm gonna say, no, you're cute. Cove smiled a bit more, clearly still feeling awkward about the move he pulled. He turned away from you, his cheeks tinted pink. A moment passed between the two of you. Now would be the perfect time to change the subject, but you didn't. He didn't either. Things started feeling a bit more personal all of a sudden. You looked into Cove's ocean eyes and saw yourself staring back. I really think you're cute. Seriously. Cove's features softened at your words, but he remained serious. Thanks. I meant it too. Finally, he broke the eye contact. I've heard at some point you're supposed to start liking types of people, guys or girls or whoever. I haven't really noticed that yet. Nothing's changed. Not in a big way, not for everybody. Maybe I have to grow up more. But at least with... You waited, but he trailed off. He wasn't going to keep talking. You frowned, a little disappointed. You wished that he'd continued with what he was saying. You shook off the strangeness of the situation and tried to be supportive. Maybe you just don't like anybody. Or maybe you like all types of people. That's normal too. Cove seemed to appreciate that thought, if the smile had appeared on his lips was any indication. But the expression was quick to disappear. He peered over at you looking nervous. Okay, what about you? What kind of guy or person do you like? Is it not obvious by now? He winced and seemed to be mentally kicking himself for saying it like that. You considered his question carefully. Do you know who or what you liked? Ooh. You were starting to have physical attraction in a general way. You only seemed to feel physical attraction in specific cases and situations. You didn't really have a physical interest in other people. You didn't think you could tell if you had an interest in people physically. There was only one person you'd ever had those kinds of feelings for. Ooh, interesting. Well, I personally am ace. So in my mind, it still kind of confuses me at what age most people start experiencing physical attraction. Like, people say to me, yeah, it is like around 12, 13, 14, and that still doesn't compute with my brain. That doesn't make sense. I think I'm gonna say you couldn't tell. You didn't think you could tell if you had an interest in people physically. Because kind of leaves room for growth, you know? I think I'm gonna go with this one. I don't know, just feels like the most natural one for me to go for at the moment. Oh, there we go, thank you. You were starting to have romantic attraction in a general way. You only seemed to feel romantic attraction in specific cases and situations. You didn't think you could tell if you had an interest in people romantically. There's only one person you'd have had romantic feelings for. Okay. Oh, this one's okay. Believe it or not, this one's a more difficult question for me. I think it is usually you only seem to feel romantic attraction in specific cases and scenarios, but also we're only 13s, and clearly I think Cove is the only person we've ever been interested in. I think this one actually is the most accurate to both my personal experience and to my character's personal experience. You know, it's a nice mesh. I'm gonna go with this one. There was only one person you'd ever had romantic feelings for. But specifically when it came to how you felt towards boys. Ooh. You found them attractive, you thought you'd be happy to be with a guy someday. You found them attractive, but you hadn't thought about being with a guy. You weren't physically interested, but you'd be happy to have a romantic relationship with a guy. Interesting. I'm gonna go with this one. I feel like this is the most accurate to me as well. In my mind, I'm not interested in guys, but I also think that if I found someone that just made me completely content and perfectly happy in my life, I wouldn't throw that away because of someone's gender identity, you know? Yeah. And how you felt towards girls was that they're all perfect. They're all perfect. Full stop. You found them attractive, though you thought you'd be happy to be with a girl someday. For people who aren't exclusive. Oh, yay! Yes! Hell yeah, baby! Hell yeah! So I'm just sitting here for 10 minutes contemplating my identity for the first time. You returned your attention to Cove. He was waiting patiently for your response. I'm going to be open and honest about it. You explained how you felt to Cove. He listened intently, taking in every word as you tried to convey how you felt. He definitely perked up a bit when you mentioned having some interest in romantic relationships. It was nice to have people who supported you when it came to who you liked. You knew he accepted you for who you were too, but you still wondered what he thought about who you were. Oh, interesting. I'm here to feel content, you know? He had never treated you differently because of your identity. Then he scratched the back of his head, sheepish. You don't need to spill if you don't want to, bud. You go on your own journey, and I'm here if you want to share that. And I'm also here if you don't want to share that. I'm not really sure how we ended up talking about all this when we started just playing Hangman. Because you told me I'm cute. But it was good, I think. It was awkward. I think so too. Cove chuckled a little bashfully. He glanced around, clearly scrambling for something else to say. So, have you learned any new songs on your clarinet lately? I play clarinet? Like what? From over the garden wall? Yeah, actually, I'm really glad you brought it up. The conversation took a lighter turn after that, and it felt like you got closer that afternoon. Finally, the blazing sun began to set. To your relief, the air cooled down a bit as a final result. As a result, you pulled yourself off the floor, as did Cove, with some minor complaint. You both stretched your arms, groaning, and yawned into your hands. You glanced out your window briefly, taking in the soft reds, pinks, and purples of the late afternoon sky. Somehow you had made it through the scorching hot day in one piece. Cove turned towards you, motioning towards your window with his chin. Want to go outside? It might be better out there than it is in here now. Sounds good. I could really use some fresh air. The two of you took your time heading downstairs. You stopped briefly to grab a drink of water, then continued on your way. God, I need a drink of water. Hold up. Resume. You stepped outside, one after the other, your destination being the familiar hills behind your house. Oh, so sweet. This time of day it was quiet outside. The flowers blew gently in the wind, petals trembling but stubbornly hanging in there. You felt the breeze cool on your heated skin, and you relaxed your shoulders. Cove closed his eyes, releasing a deep breath. I really love it out here. I do too. You too? That's surprising. Haha. Your opinion sure has changed since you were first on this hill. I do too. Cove smiled. Tendrils of his hair danced with the wind. A beat passed, but his gaze didn't stray from your own. His voice was impossibly soft when he spoke up again. I'm glad I met you, Patch. You're really important to me, you know? That's so nice of you. Oh, I feel the same. Wait, what exactly did he say? You're really important to me, you know. I feel the same. Your voice came out equally delicate. From the way his features brightened though, you knew he heard you. Then Cove reached over and held your hand without another word. Even as the sun disappeared completely and the sky darkened, you and Cove remained side by side for as long as you possibly could. Oh, that was beautiful. I feel so content. Wow. Oh my gosh, we've been going for an hour and a half now. Yikes. I want to keep going though. Okay. That was really fun. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, because I enjoyed it very much. Oh my gosh, and these just keep getting better and better. Like every one of the little moments, I enjoy it more than the last one. Oh, okay. Oh, stick around for the next one, because I have a feeling it's gonna be good. Okay. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I'll see you all next time, okay? Bye!